Hello interweb, this is Dannage. Welcome back to Cattle Shores, episode, God, what are we on now? 17. Yes, I've got to watch out for those titles because episode 16, I actually put episode 15's titles left on the front. Anyway, just moving past that, we're going to continue with the format that we used before. We're going to sort of go over a bit of time lapse. This time I did edit a little bit more than before, mainly just because a lot of this episode, I mean, we are working on the city, but a lot of this episode is kinda just placing residential, commercial, residential, residential. There's a little bit of toing and froing, and there's some excitement here at the outset with some roads, and we've just placed a factory. That's the steel mill, or the steel plant that we've placed there. Mainly because we're trying to fill that space. And you may recall that previously I'd said that I'd kinda not been able to fit everything in. Well, the fact that I've put the steel plant up there means that I should be able to now fit everything in, I think. So we will see. We are also now connecting up the road for the one that's going over into the into the mountain, not necessarily the nature reserve. But yes, there's that's going there, and then all this wiggly terrain. Some of it's got to get smoothed out a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's got to be respected. You got to respect that topography, haven't you? I've got to start getting some catchphrases of my own, apart from "Hello, I suck." So here's some roads. Yeah, some roads being laid, and yeah, off they go. I'm just trying to join up. I'm just trying to bring together all of the collectors here, make some spaces. That arteria, that road there with the tram, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it come off with a thinner road there for a tram, because I am going to connect that up to the tram station in Urban Sprawl. But it will be a bit of a stretch to get there. But that doesn't need to be our collector or arterial all the way back. So just smoothing off some terrain here. And this is basically going to be now sort of isolating out my areas of the city. So this is kind of the boundaries, I guess, of the town. And there I sometimes forget that I'm I'm using a 6-lane road. There I wouldn't forget that I was wearing it. The asphalt hat would be quite heavy for a start, and I'm pretty sure I'd remember it. So I'm going to place a roundabout here, but in order to do that, I want it to be flat. So I just re-terraformed the area around it, and then used the old roundabout builder, and bosh, there we go. But we don't want walkways on it. No, we don't. We want people to be fast, and we've got some 6-lane road going into a thing there, so we need 3 lanes. And I don't have a 3-lane one-way road because I don't have a network extensions anymore. And you remember an episode or 2 episodes ago, we tried to get the winter market out, and now the winter market has gone into the city, and that was a large hotel. Large hotel was in the tourist zone, and here I'm playing around with trying to find some places to put assets in, larger assets, and they're all slightly too big for my grids or slightly too small, which is why I had said at the beginning that I would not place grids first. I'd place a single road, and then I'd place buildings, and then I'd grid off of those. But no, I didn't. I've put a sea fortress in. I've added that's the oppression office, I think, and there's the observation tower, and there's a statue of the Colossus. Oh gosh, we've got absolutely everything out there. Everything that we can think of, we're essentially adding into the touristy zone. I still do get a lot of problems with the fact that I don't have enough tourists. So I mean, there are several points. You look at that residential demand bar; it's right up the top, and I keep seeing that every time I look back down at it, and then I think, oh gosh, there's some car parks. It's a very useful. It's just a little 2x4 car park area. I should link to that. I haven't really referenced that in any of my videos, but I've used a few of those. Just little 2x4 car parks, and they are just nice to sort of pop in and sort of try and reduce your traffic. Give your Sims somewhere to park their cars and go and walk the rest of the way. Talking of walking, let's add a path in. Let's add a path in alongside the quay. Connect the footpath up to the industrial harbour or the cargo harbour. That should get quite some footfall, I'm guessing, later on, because that's kind of hooking up with a footfall. That's a sort of pedestrianised way to get to the next section of the city, as opposed to going all the way up that collector road over the bridge and then along the roundabout and everything. So I think that's actually going to have a lot of people in it. And there we go. I should have sped this section up. There are some sections of this that go faster than sort of 3 times, 5 times. Because, well, it's just laying residential. And I'm just doing them one at a time. And I'm kind of waiting. You'll notice I sort of add a block and then I'll wait for it to start building, because then you can add the block next to it and then you can somewhat control the plot size. And around here I do want 4x4 plots. Over here I also want 4x4 plots, but they're all to be low density because this is Urban Sprawl Part 2. And there I'm looking, and I think Biffa is where I learnt this one from. If they're an abandoned building, you can actually find out why they were abandoned, and that was because I hadn't extended the water. And this was just a road I'd added a couple of episodes back, snuck in between episodes, just to get a bridge under the highway so that I could connect the 2 urban sprawls without worrying about the ferry stops. And gosh, I still haven't re-added ferry stops. I've got the ferry depot and I've got the 1 ferry stop, but I still haven't. Every time I've added it, I've then deleted, either through there becoming an error, there being a mod conflict, or through the fact that or disappearing path. That's going to come out soon. And I've got some nice pathways there again around the edge, and there's loads of people using the pavement under the tunnel. I didn't even realize there was a pedestrian pavement under the tunnel, because I wouldn't have had that in real life. That's not something you really see. But yeah, that's there. Added, there's a roundabout there, and I don't know if I added that last episode or before. I've also made a space for a big farm. So we're done with the messing around with little piddly farms now. We're gonna build a proper farm, because my factories keep saying I don't have resources, and what they keep missing is crops. And I've done a couple of versions of extra farming stuff around here, and it caused immense traffic. So what I'm doing here is I'm just thinking, right, bypass road, and then I'm going to attach the farm to that. And then I thought, no, actually, that's too close. So I'm going to extend it away, and then I'm going to put a roundabout on each end. So doing that old traffic manager predefined Control Shift Click Alt X Y Z thing, and getting that those roundabouts properly set up, and then just laying out some, as I say, single track, so that you can get your plots out there and where the next road has got to be. So I spent a little time trying to line this one up, because if you go over the other one, you sort of see where it goes red, and you could determine your edge from there. But it didn't quite work out for me. But that doesn't matter, because look, I've gone in, I found I only technically needed to place one, and then I could place the other road on the other side, and then I don't even use move it, I just do the relocate building, and I'm alternating where the entrances are. I'm putting a greenhouse at the front on both sides, and then I think it's corn and maybe potatoes, or it might be wheat, I'm not sure. Sticking a couple of barracks in there so that we should have a fair amount of people available for the work, and hopefully that will give us enough to... There I realised that yes, I'd connected all the water up but not actually to the mains, so there we are, joining the water up with the rest of the network so that yes, we can water our farm. Having a little bit of a spot of bother there with that second cattle shed, so I ended up just putting anarchy on here because I couldn't get it to join up with that road, and then I was just like, right, well, I'm going to manually just then use move it to drag it to where it should be. That is not the only time I do that on this farm. There will be doing some of that later. There, look, I'm thinking, you know what, actually that road's pretty sucky as well, I don't need that. What I could do is I could just... I'm being very patient there. Look, I only demolished the road up to where the traffic is. I'm so kind and considerate. So there I've added another road up the middle, and then I think, well, I'm going to make that one way because there, as I tell you, it was on the other farms, but I had seen some immense traffic jams around here. So, yeah. Animal pastures adding in, again taking us up to the edge of the roads there, that dirt track that I'd added for sort of showing the periphery of where my farm area was. And then I've just sort of gone for this nice sort of petal stroke propeller sort of approach for these fruit fields. So yeah, the tree sections have gone. The orchards are sort of juxtaposed to the normal crop fields, and then there's another smaller greenhouse there, and the animal pastures and the crop fields are all lined up with each other. I do consider at this point I'm going to add a road to the highway, but I didn't actually get round to it. There's a little bit of jam. Oh, there's a little bit of a traffic jam. And I actually sort that out, which never happens. I mean, that ring road there, you might notice that's a one-way system. Grain silos seem to be the source of a tremendous amount of traffic there. And that red, I think that's, I can't read that from here because it's only a small thing, but I think it was still 70-something%, getting up to 80%. It's 80% now, so ha ha ha. I can fix traffic, apparently. But yeah, so I was looking back here and I was thinking, I just thought, follow the truck, follow the truck, follow the truck. Follow where it, oh no, it's in a traffic jam. Oh, it's going to be ages. Then I thought, you know what, I need a bypass road. I've got a lot of traffic here going into the, not the factory, the train station. And so I thought, right, well, let's add a bypass. Let's expand from the train station, or let's go past the train station. Let's just raise that so that they're above the catenaries. Don't want trains crashing into my bridge, do we? No, we don't. And what we do want, though, is some road to be coming out and bring it down nice and gentle. Ease her down, lad. And then bringing it up. Killing off the trees. And then doing a nice little slopey junction. So I haven't decided to put anything necessarily in the bypass, or not attached anything to the bypass yet. Now we can sort of make an assumption that at some point there was an original road, and then somebody decided, you know what, that original road is not high volume enough, so we are going to make another road which is much straighter, and it's giving these guys a chance to turn back on themselves as opposed to not needing to now go all the way looping back to either that junction by the highway intersection or just trying to come back on themselves. Now, I've not liked that incinerator plant for quite a while, but before I get rid of it, I'm going to make a one-way system. Just a little bypass road again, because all that traffic coming in and out of that station. Now, that is exactly the wrong way to do it. I mean, it doesn't really matter when you're doing a one-way road, because you're not technically cutting across yourself with that. But there, the incinerator plant's finally gone, and I've added like 5 recycling centers in just this episode, so I think we should be okay. Now I change the cycling for the one-way system. I basically invert it so that you're now not cutting across each other, and then I do the whole lane management thing. And it's amazing. I never do the lane management thing. I go, oh, you shouldn't be in the right hand lane and trying to turn left, and now you're just causing all the jam. So you guys go forward, and then you guys need to be in the left lane to go left. And then we'll do the same thing kind of on the other side. But actually, if you're in the right lane, you go right. Oh, and then the left lane goes left, and the right lane goes right, and the people that are going just straight past go straight past. So, yeah, basically that means that look at how that's flowing now. And then I think I sped up the, I went to 2 arrows there for a second. And then I went back and just checked everything, and it was like, well, you know what? Actually, most of this is going all right now. Added a give way sign there, but yeah, it's all looking okay. So quite pleased with how that went. There were periods of time when I was just staring at. I kind of deleted that video, but there was one where I was just staring and going, I don't know how to fix any of this, but I'm quite pleased with how that's gone. And now we're getting the old surface painter back out. You saw there were no plazas that fit in that little area. It didn't help that it's not zonable because it's round a corner, but you know what? Let's pave the whole thing. This is to be paved. This is the harbour. This is the port, the docks area, the touristy docks area. So let's go all the way up. I do just wish there was some way of squaring off. The surface painter does sort of have its own square edges, but it then, that bit where it just meets the path, then there's this little gap, and I'm not quite a fan of that. And then here we are just taking some of those. I could always have just downloaded some more commercial assets, some small assets, but I tend to find that the only one-by-one commercial asset I seem to get everywhere is the Dino Oil petrol station. And when there's 80 petrol stations kind of next to each other along a seafront, you kind of think, well, yeah. So I've extended the touristy area so that it's all cafes and bars, and that should hopefully have reset, or it did reset a lot of those areas, a lot of the little commercial zones. So what are we adding here? Oh, we're adding some more services. Oh, yeah. We had a hospital in there already. Hospital's the first thing that we laid. But I've relented and I've added a second university. My population is still, I think, 64% is completely uneducated. And I'm getting, last time we said, oh, amazing, I didn't have the Industries DLC, and my industrial demand was huge. And now I've got the Industries DLC, and I don't seem to have much industrial demand. I wonder why. I don't have campus, and yet all of my Sims would appear to be complete idiots. I'm wondering, as I think about it now, I'm wondering if that's just the Paradox guys going, you know what? Oh, notice you don't have DLC. Maybe your game's gonna kind of suck because of that. Buy our DLC. All right, I will do maybe. But why don't you put it on sale, and then I will. This path thing, and this was the first time I'd noticed that with the path thing. But I ended up with, I've been complaining recently about the path that you lay and then it disappears, which has happened a couple of times there. But that I noticed then sort of created a node. I finally bridged the electricity to the car parks and the Colossus, and added another plaza. So I'm laying some paths, or trying to lay the path, and then it disappears, and then you go, I don't know why that's disappeared, but then it won't delete. And in the end, I had to get, what did I do? I had to group select, or what's the word? Marquee select? That's the one. Marquee select, and then bulldoze from move it. I couldn't bulldoze from the normal area, so that was pretty. It's pretty. I don't know why that's happening, but the game is obviously beginning to get a little bit. No, the paths. No. Stretching the touristy area here. Now I am suffering in the touristy area. There are abandoned buildings, which I come back to. I am enjoying that seafront look, though. It's not really looking like my local seafront. I say local, sort of 30 miles away seafront, which looks a bit, sort of typical British seafront, sort of run down. But I'm liking the city seafront. Yeah, kind of wish I had a marina again, but I think I used to have a marina as an asset, but I really cleared out my asset library before I sort of did my return to CS, as it were. And now look, what are we doing? We're expanding our area. We're coming out with not a country road, really. It's still a towny road, and it's not going to take you home, but it will surround a residential area. So what that means is that we are now getting into our space where we are making the other sort of main part, if you like, I guess, of the city periphery. We're just sticking out some prongs here for not urban sprawl, but this will be the residential waterfront, the other side of the main city. That's super exciting, isn't it? And we're avoiding grid here. So we're keeping things relatively sort of lined up with each other. Squarish, sort of, not really square, generally just sort of pleasing angles, I guess. But just sort of following some road curves, and this is going to just have smaller residential areas. So it's going to be high density residential, but it's going to be 2x2s and 2x3s. It's all going to be low rise, and there we are we are going to have the sort of edges of our city. So skyscrapers in the middle, hopefully. Here we go. Look, there we go. This one. No, this one. No, you're a block. No, I can't bulldoze you. Nope, can't bulldoze you. Can't go anywhere. I'm hovering around. Can't select you. Can't grab you. Aha! There is a node. Oh no, I can't bulldoze it. There is a node. Bulldoze there. In the end, I ended up sort of not going from a square. So I've got all the guidelines turned off, but I sort of made the path kind of half overlap a square, as opposed to start from a square. And that seems to have worked there, but I don't know honestly why that has gone or why that happens. But it's obviously something I'm doing wrong, because it only happens at certain times, and it only seems to happen to me. So there we go. So we're just adding in, what did I do there? I think that was a small medical centre just on the other side. Go back and check the traffic. It's all working. And the pollution's gone. Now that the pollution's gone, in a fit of irony, let's go to where the ground pollution was highest and place 2 new water towers. Ha ha ha! They'll never know. So we've gone back to the factory area there, and there are 2 more factories that we want to look at. And this is the, I don't know what, one of these is the bakery, and the other one is the, if the bakery was the 2nd factory along, then it's whatever the 4th factory along is. Because factory number 4 and factory number 2 belong here on my little diagram. And what I've basically done there is I've just squeezed factory 2, I think, or 4, but the bakery into the corner as far as it will go. And then I'm essentially adjusting the roads so that I can move the other factory over. Now I'm going to get rid of the other factory in a second, but I'm just lining up the road in preparation. So I'm going to wait until I've got all the stuff, because that's, you know, I don't have any materials to make that factory just yet, but I've now got the space where that other factory is going to go. So we are going to have 4 factories there. That's going to be exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how much space we've got for warehouses. Now I do have that warehouse just in front of the lemonade factory or the orangeade factory, but that's not very full. These are now taking 4 of my resources, and they're all going great. But I'm still not getting any crops. This guy's producing a fair amount of crops. There are complaints. I can't remember if I filmed that bit or not. I guess we will see. Potentially, but there was an element where I was all the farms were just saying, again, not placing. I had to go into anarchy and then use move it to basically nudge the farms back into the correct position. Obviously something not 100% square somewhere in my roads. Could be just because I haven't flattened the area completely. But going back to the factories, I'm still missing the crops, and I'm still unable to tell why I can't get crops over when I've got all those grain silos. They're unbalanced. I've got warehouses nearby. So maybe you've got tips. Maybe you've got tips for helping me out there. But we're going to go find ourselves a place to park. That's the end of the show for tonight. You guys have a good couple of days, and we will see you again on Friday when, well, maybe we'll do something else. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.